Hello, my friends. Welcome back to another episode of Over Easy. My name is Manny. In case you're new here, or welcome back, let me just sit in the center of the frame because I can see that I'm kind of off. Okay, welcome back to another episode. In case you're new here, Over Easy is just my podcast about life. We talk about anything, honestly. We're going to start with a rose, bud, and thorn, which is something I always start my episodes with. A rose is something good that's happened to me recently. A bud is something I'm looking forward to. And a thorn is something that's not so good. So my rose for today this is a really small rose, but I recently bought my first ever candle and lighter. My mom never let me get candles when I was younger, when I was living at home, because I don't know, I guess she was worried that I would burn the house down, which is a very fair concern. But now that I've moved out and I make my own rules, I got a candle and I'm lighting it and it smells so good. It's called Autumn Road Trip. It's not Bath and Body Works or anything. I just got it at the grocery store, but it smells really good. It smells very fresh. I didn't really want one that smelled like overly sweet because I can find those a little unbearable at times. So I think this is a really nice fresh autumn scent that I really like. So that has been making me really happy this weekend, honestly. Another rose of mine is that I am here filming my podcast and I was vlogging today. And to be honest, I think this is a sign that I need to just do content more. I think TikTok is not really the same. I've been making TikToks like somewhat consistently, but honestly, just doing YouTube and my podcast really does make me super happy. And it's a sign that I need to kind of like make time for it. I've been really busy with moving out. I'm sure you've noticed I have not been consistent on anything. And that's just because I've just been busy or honestly tired and I haven't been prioritizing it as much. But today I've been like in a much better mood just because I'm like vlogging and filming my podcast. Like finally making time to do the things that I want is really, really nice. So that's my rose of the day. My bud is, let me grab it, but I bought the Jeanette Mccurdy book at Costco today. It's called I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette Mccurdy. There is so much online talk about it, and I'm so excited to read this because I feel like it'll be very interesting, and I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, I loved iCarly as a kid, so like actually knowing the truth behind it, I think will be very interesting, and just learning about a different world that I've never been a part of, and I never will be, which is like Hollywood and acting and stuff. I think it'll be really interesting to read, so I'm very excited for that. I'm going to show you the books that I also have on my TBR in a little bit after my rosebud and thorn. My thorn is, I have two. First of all, there's a fly in my apartment and I can see it running around the windows. It's kind of annoying. I just got my apartment bug free, had to kill a spider, and I had another fly before, but now I have another one in my apartment. And I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I was trying to get a cup to like take it out, a cup and paper, but I got kind of scared. I know it's a fly and it literally wouldn't even hurt me. So, but anyways, that's kind of annoying. I don't know. I think I'll just let it die, I guess. Oh God. My other thorn is I've just been really emotional this weekend. Honestly, I've been kind of sad and we're going to talk about it today. Of course. I try to, not sure. Like whenever I do online things, I really try to make it realistic and make sure that, people don't think that my life is a certain way when in reality it's not. I really try not to do that. I try to be as authentic as I can. So obviously we're going to talk about why I'm not feeling the best this weekend after these other segments though. So that's my rosebud and thorn for today. I honestly, now that I was just thinking about this before I started filming my podcast, but I was like, I really think I need to do my podcast for literally mental well-being every week, because it's not even the fact that like you guys will listen or anyone will listen. I think it's that I just need to talk. I have a really hard time expressing how I feel and my thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts, but I just have a really hard time expressing them. And sometimes they're important and sometimes they're not. But I just need to get them out or else I'm going to bottle up and feel like trapped. So I think that's like a sign. This is a sign for me to like prioritize my podcast more, because I have not been doing it recently and I have not been doing well. So maybe there's like a correlation there or something. I have no idea. but I really love this natural sunlight right now. I know you guys can see. It is super nice, and I'm very happy with that. So anyways, let's get on to the next segment. The next segment, I just wanted to share some of my favorite Amazon purchases that I got for my apartment for moving out. I've ordered a lot from Amazon recently, and I still have more coming, so that's not good. But anyways, first off, I don't know what to show first. I got these mini command hooks. I've ordered them before a long time ago, and I had a couple, but I recently just bought another pack and used it. These are so useful for just the most random things. The reason why I originally purchased these is because my friend Kiara got me a set of oven mitts. And I really have no counter space or storage space in my kitchen. So I needed to obviously use the wall. I didn't want my oven mitts on the counter the entire time. So I stuck a little mini command hook on the side of my fridge and I hung up my oven mitts, and it looks so good, and they're just out of the way, and it's just so useful. I also have one for my sponge right by my sink so that, my sponge has a place to hang and a place to be. And so it won't get the counter all wet and stuff. And I can also move the hook so it's not dripping onto the wall, which is actually really big brain. I also got one. I stuck two more. I have one in my bathroom to hang my shower cap up because I don't have a knob to put my shower cap up, if you know what I mean. So that's been super useful. And then the last one is I stuck one by the entrance of my apartment because that's going to be I have a tote bag of the week. I pick one tote bag and I use it for work for the week. So I'm going to hang that, my work bag for the week, on that little command hook by my entrance so that I don't have to because I just put it on the floor right now. If you know me, I'm a person who is really bad at putting things away. I refuse to do it, even though it takes 30 seconds. So I'll leave things on the floor for the longest time. So I think that having that command hook will at least make it look somewhat that it has a place, and at least it won't be on the floor. That's the other thing. So this has been one of the best Amazon purchases. They're so useful. I think it's so... Oh yeah, I also hung my wall calendar up with this. So obviously you can hang up actual stuff. Okay, my next Amazon purchase that I have is this thing. These are mini night lights, and these are actually so good. So the first few weeks that I moved in, I noticed that when I got up to pee at night, and just at night in general, my apartment gets really, really dark. I don't know how, and I don't know why. I think it's also just because around where I live, there's not many street lights. So obviously there's not much outside light coming in. So it gets really, really dark. It gets pitch black in my room, which is nice for sleeping. But obviously when I'm with the winter coming and the days getting shorter, I don't always want it to be pitch black. So these have been really nice. I stuck them all around my apartment. I have one in my bathroom, one in my kitchen, one in the entryway, one down by the stairs, and then two in my den. And they turn on automatically when it gets dark. It's so cool. And then they also turn on if you put your finger next to the little sensor here, but they're just so nice. They're not super bright. They're the perfect amount of brightness. And yeah, you just leave them plugged in on your wall. And I think they're super convenient. And this is really nice. I really like this purchase. Okay. Another purchase that I made is I bought Exploding Kittens off Amazon. Exploding Kittens, I used to play this all the time in my first year of university because if you go to UBC, I would eat with my friends at a restaurant called The Point at UBC a lot. And The Point was basically... it was kind of just a Earl's Cactus kind of vibe, and they had a ton of board games at The Point, and so one of them was Exploding Kittens, so we would play that every single time we went to go eat there, which was every week in first year. And I remember I had so much fun with it, and then I just ended up not playing it ever again. And then last week I hosted my friends over for a little birthday party / board games night / housewarming thing, so I decided to purchase Exploding Kittens because I was oh yeah, I used to have so much fun playing this, but I haven't played in so long, and I feel it'll be super fun. This is so much fun. It's so easy to set up and so easy to just play really quickly, which is nice. And it's also kind of fast to play, which is also good because obviously one thing about board games that's really annoying is that some of them last forever, like Monopoly. Another game we played last week when my friends were over was this game called Avalon. And it got so intense. We were yelling at each other like for hours, and it was so hard for us to keep going to the next round. It's basically like Mafia. You should search it up if you've never played before. It's actually really, really fun. But it's basically like Mafia, and so none of us trusted each other, and we were just yelling at each other the whole time. And those games take a lot of effort, and sometimes you just want something really fast. Like maybe you're waiting for your food to come at a restaurant. This would be like Exploding Kittens would be a perfect game for that. So this has been really nice. I honestly think I should bring it around more. I might like put it in a little plastic bag so that like I can bring it around with me and we can play all the time. Also because I don't want to be on my phone all the time, and like, yeah, I think this would be more fun than scrolling on my phone waiting for my food. So this has been great. This was a great purchase. I love it. Okay, 2 more purchases. I just bought this. This is a lighter to go with my new candle thing that I have. But this is an electric candle lighter, so it's like especially for candles, and it's electric, so it's not actually, it's rechargeable, and it's not actually has like the liquid inside. I don't know what it's called, but it's basically kind of like a mini taser. It's kind of scary, to be honest, but it just makes lighting candles really convenient. So if you're a candle person, you might want to look into getting this. I think everyone on TikTok, like those TikTok girlies, have this. So I kind of was influenced, but I think it's pretty useful, to be honest. It's also only like $12, so it's pretty cheap for something that's rechargeable and reusable. It's pretty good. Like obviously you can also use it for birthday candles and other stuff you light. So that's great. Last thing I want to share that I got off Amazon is this big bag of microfiber towels. These are the ones I haven't even used yet. I have a bunch in my kitchen and being washed right now, but there's still so many more. So I might honestly give some to my boyfriend or something, but these are so useful just to like literally any purpose. I think microfiber towels are great. So they're for cleaning. So I'm an adult now, cleaning all the time. So those are my Amazon purchases that I've gotten for my apartment. I also bought a ladder bookshelf off Amazon, and it's really nice. It's been holding all my books and my decor, and it's been super cute. And I also literally just before I started filming this, I purchased some magnets because I want to stick them onto my calendar and hang it on the fridge. And I think that'd be so good. And they're coming tomorrow, so I'll update you on how that goes. I hope, if I remember. So that's my little Amazon purchases segment. If you're looking to move out, or if you're looking to, just buy things, you can consider those. Next, I want to show you my TBR, so my list of books that I want to read for the rest of October. I just started this morning. This is called I Told You This Would Happen by Elaine Murphy. And basically, from what I've started reading about this, it's about a girl who kills her sister. Her sister was a serial killer, so she kills the serial killer, and then now there's like a murder mystery and people are finding out that she killed her sister, so she needs to hide and stuff. So I think that's super interesting. I think it'll be super fun. I also got November 9 or November 9th, I don't know, by Colleen Hoover. I told myself I would not read Colleen Hoover books again, but we'll see how this goes. I'm a little bit iffy after Ugly Love. I think I went on a rant on this many episodes ago, so it's been a while, but I have not read a Colleen Hoover book since summer, and so I'm willing to give her another shot. I honestly, it's not that I am like have a vendetta against her. It's just like I'm not going to go out of my way to read her books now, but I wanted to try this out again. I just picked up this from the library today. It's called Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Jillian Mcallister. I literally don't even know what this is about. I put it on hold on the library though. It's also a murder mystery, so that'll be fun to read. I really want to try and read more this month and just not be on my phone so much. And then, of course, I talked about this at the beginning, but this is I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette Mccurdy. I'm actually really, really excited to read this. I loved iCarly as a kid, and just, I don't know, I also just really like learning about people's lives. Like, I think that's just I'm into psychology and that kind of stuff. So I'm really, really, really excited to read that one. I think I'm going to have a hard time waiting until reading the rest of my library books to read that, but I'm going to have to because my library books have a due date, obviously, and that one does not, because that one's mine forever now. Anyways, now we can get into, I guess, what this episode is called. I'm thinking of calling it a vulnerable episode because I'm kind of just going to talk about what I've been thinking about and why I haven't been doing as well and just stuff like that. It's kind of hard to explain. Again, like I said, I'm actually really not good at speaking, even though I have a podcast. I know it's kind of contradictory, but it's really hard for me to sometimes put my thoughts into words, and I go by the vibe check. My boyfriend used to hate when I say that. Before, a while ago, when I was upset, I would just be like, it's the vibe. And my boyfriend was so frustrated because he was like, what does that even mean? Like, that doesn't even make sense, you know? And I was like, yeah, that's true. It doesn't really make sense. But I'm not the best at explaining how I feel. So there's kind of 3 main things that I want to touch on that have made me feel not great. First off is, I think a classic topic for anyone in their 20s, anyone in their young adult life, is I just feel so lost career-wise. And it's been, I don't know. After I graduated, obviously my plans have super changed since I graduated. I did travel a little bit, but I ended up starting working late this summer. And so I also am now tied into a lease for the next year because I moved out and I rented this apartment. So obviously my plans have changed. Originally, I think my original plan was I was going to be in Japan right now and be living my best life, which I definitely want to do. I honestly think I want to do that next year after my lease is up, but we'll see. Obviously, I can't speak into reality. I realize now that making plans is so useless. Like, there is no future, there's no past, there's right now, and that's all I can really do. I really can't change anything or predict the future. There are so many things that are going to not turn out the way that I thought. So I've been really trying to be at ease with the fact that it's okay that there's no plan. And yeah, that's kind of one of the mindsets that I've been trying to train myself, but it's really hard, honestly. But anyways, so I'm on this gap year of sorts, right? Because I'm just working and trying to figure out what I want to do next, where I want to turn my attention to. And I just honestly have no idea where to go from here. I don't really want to stress myself out with thinking about all these different options that I have, because I've been playing with everything. You know, my plan, and I think I do want to continue with this. My plan is I want to go back to school to become a school counselor for kids. But I also have considered going to law school. I was like, maybe I should be a lawyer. All I know is, okay, now that I have experience doing like a corporate office job, is I definitely need some sort of aspect of my job to be people facing. I think that's just who I am. I'm not an extrovert by any means. I'm definitely an introvert, but I think interacting with people and getting to know them is like one of my favorite parts of life in general. So I definitely want some sort of people facing job that preferably would be like the same clients over and over again. And why I say that is because there's a lot of people facing jobs where you deal with like the general public, like a barista, servers, store associates, stuff like that. But I think I want a job where I can maintain a relationship and build a relationship with these people, because it's just so much more rewarding that way. One of my favorite parts of teaching math to kids is, first of all, I get to know the same kids for an extended period of time. It's not like they're totally new every single time. But it's also just so nice to be able to see them grow, watch them grow, see them learn. And that's like one of my favorite parts of the job. So I definitely want something people facing, and preferably something that I can, build a relationship with people. Yeah. In terms of other things career-wise, also now that I've worked an office job, I definitely need something that's not an office job 9 to 5, because I hate sitting at a desk. I'm lucky that I only do my desk job in the morning, and then in the afternoon I can teach math, and that involves walking around and stuff and just like being more active. I think if my entire job was just desk work, I think I would lose my mind, like genuinely. So maybe a job that kind of has a mix of both, which is kind of why I'm thinking like school counselor, right? Because you get a mix of like writing reports and just desk work, but then you also, get to interact with classrooms and kids on a more one-to-one basis. Yeah, I think that's kind of why I keep referring back to the counselor thing, is because it generally does kind of meet all my requirements for a job. In terms of other career thoughts that I've been having is, it's really hard to be a new grad right now in the recession, in the current economy, because first of all, it's like the hiring opportunities are so much less and cost of living is so high while companies still want to pay low, which does make sense from a company's point of view. Obviously, if you're a beginner, they're not going to be paying you super high money right out of the bat, but it's also like I can't afford to not be paid. Wait, I can't afford to be paid less, like paid what the companies want. So yeah, I don't know. I think the economy right now is also making it really hard. I know one thing for all of my friends who have recently graduated and don't really have a job. It's a really touchy subject for all of us, just because there's so many applicants right now and there's so few jobs and we don't really know what we want to do and the pay isn't great. So it's just a lot of not ideal factors right now going into finding a job. So I totally feel for you if you're job hunting right now or you're about to graduate and you don't know what you want to do. Trust me, everyone feels this way. One thing that really does bring me comfort is I'll go on TikTok, and on my For You page, sometimes there are these videos of people who feel exactly the way I feel. And it is really affirming or reassuring that other people feel this way, because sometimes you feel like you're always alone. You're the only one that feels what you feel, but that's not true. A lot of people go through the same things. We just don't really feel that way. We have that main character energy, but just know that there are a lot of main characters and other people can go through the same struggles as you. So that's been one kind of saving grace. I'm also just really trying to let myself enjoy this period of time. I know it's hard to enjoy, so to speak, but I don't want to rush through this period, because this is a very important period of my life where things are hard and things are hard mentally. And I don't really know what I want to do and stuff like that. But I think that it's going to be so rewarding to look back on this period when I do have my life together and I am doing something that I really love, to see this and be like, wow, I have come so far and I just let myself enjoy the process, and that is it. All I really want is for me to be happy, and honestly, I'll just enjoy the ride. Wherever life takes me, I think I will be meant to be where I go, so I think it'll be okay. It's just a little frustrating at times because getting a job is like so important, because obviously that's your livelihood and stuff. And I'm always teetering on like, your job should be your passion or your job is just a job. I think now that I've worked quite a number of jobs, they're all quite comfortable jobs. My boyfriend and I were talking about this yesterday. All the jobs that I've worked are very comfortable in that I haven't had to do any like physical labor jobs, but I think it'll be okay. I don't think making your passion your job is as important as I used to think it was. When I was in high school, I was like, oh my God, I need to make my job like whatever I love doing the most. But it's okay if it's not, because that also brings its own sets of struggles and worries that are also challenging. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure if you guys are on TikTok, you've seen recently all this kind of talk about influencers' jobs and how hard they really are. And I really like filming my podcast and content creating too, but I would never want to make it my job, because I think that comes with so many struggles that I'll take, I don't know. It just comes with its own struggles that I don't know are worth it, I think. So yeah, career-wise, I am struggling, and I'm trying to tell myself it's okay, but I think I just have to get through this. I don't know. I Also, the fly in my apartment is really distracting me because he's flying everywhere. Like, he's stuck between the blinds and the window, so he just, like, flies from the window and then flies to the blinds and he, like, hits himself. Anyways, I'm very distracted, but yeah, I don't know what I want to do career-wise. I'm telling myself, you know, I have this year to kind of maintain where I'm at, and then I want to kind of change. I realistically think I do want to go to Japan after this gap year. And then honestly, I might go back to school. One of the reasons why I'm hesitant on going back to school right away, and also why I didn't want to go to school right after my undergrad, is because I've been in school for all of my young adult life pretty much, and I feel like if I go back right away, it's just going to be a very similar experience. And by no means was my undergrad or high school life bad, but I don't think I know I didn't make the most of it. Like, I never spoke in class and I was just so afraid all the time. I think if I am going to go back to do a master's in counseling, I want my time to be worth it. You know, I want my time there to be worth it. I want to be in a stage of life where I feel experienced and worthy to talk in class. One of the reasons why I never talked in class in undergrad was because I felt like I didn't know much, and you know, whatever I brought up would be like really dumb and boring, which obviously has its own set of problems. Like, that's a whole nother topic we can talk about. I am really good at gaslighting myself, but I want another experience for education in my life. Like, I think that's just kind of what I want. And if I go back to school in my young 20s, I think it's just going to be a continuation of my undergrad, which I don't really want because I've obviously already experienced it. So ideally, I want to go back to school in my late 20s. So that gives me about 4 or 5 years to figure out what I need to do right now. And maybe right now I just do jobs to make ends meet. Like, maybe that's my decision. I don't know. I really don't know. But that's kind of my thought process with going back to school, because obviously going back to school is also a very viable thought. Like, I could honestly go back to school next year because there are requirements that I have not taken that were supposed to be part of my undergrad that I'll need. I haven't taken yet. So if I do go back to school as a master's, I'll have to spend a bit of time actually in undergrad again, finishing up all the requirements that I need, and then applying to a master's. So I think if I do go back to school, it's going to be another like 2 to 3 years, which is a bit of time, you know. I really want to just enjoy this stage. One of the reasons why is because you're so fortunate in your young 20s to literally have most of us at least, I don't want to talk for everyone, I have no obligations to anyone else. It's not like I have kids yet. My parents can fend for themselves. They can afford what they want. So to be honest, I'm kind of just looking out for me right now. And that's kind of special. You really won't get this in a later stage of life, right? Once I start having kids, once I get married, those kinds of things that kind of like luxury is not going to be afforded to me. So I kind of really want to enjoy that right now, which is also why I want to continue traveling, because I think traveling right now is very special and different. Anyways, that's kind of how I've been feeling career-wise. I just don't know where I'm at. I will be here in this apartment working these jobs for the next year while I kind of just figure it out and think about it. But yeah. Okay. My next bullet point is kind of a hard-hitting one. I've been feeling very inadequate. And there's 3 main parts of it. I journaled about it this morning, so I can tell you about it word for word. Maybe not word for word. We'll see. But yeah, I've been feeling very inadequate. Also, look at my journal and look at how cute it is with all the stickers. Okay. First, also, my main consensus for my journal entry this morning is that I need to go back to therapy. I've not gone in approximately 7 months. So I think it's time we go back. But, okay. First off, I feel inadequate as a daughter. One of the reasons is because I chose to move out. And while this has been one of my goals for the longest time, it also kind of gives me a lot of guilt, a lot, every day. And one of the reasons is I still do see my family really often, like once or twice a week, honestly, which is a lot. It's not like we're half the world away from each other. I'm 5 minutes away from home. So it's not like that's really nice. I think had I moved away very far away right away, I think that would have been too scary of a jump. But this is like a good stepping stone to if I really do leave Vancouver, which is kind of a thought for me right now. But yeah, I moved out. I left my family, even though I still don't see them often. And now my mom has to deal entirely with my grandparents and my brother. And that gives me a lot of guilt because obviously my mom is a very busy person. She works a lot. And if you're part of an immigrant family, I guess you'll maybe have this experience. But grandparents can be very time consuming in that they don't speak English. So most of the time they're fine when they go out day to day to the grocery stores and stuff. Our city is relatively Asian, so that's typically fine. They're able to speak Chinese and stuff. But one thing is that obviously as you get older, you're going to need more health help, and they can't go to the doctors by themselves because they don't speak English and they don't know what these things are called. So it's a very time consuming it used to be me and my mom to help them out with that and stuff like that. I didn't even do a lot of it. I just did very little stuff. But now that my mom has to take care of all of it because I moved out, it's a lot. And I know that. So it makes me feel kind of guilty. Another reason I feel inadequate as a daughter is I don't know if people actually do this. I've never talked to anyone else about it, but I guess in some families it's like normal or expected for the child to pay back parents when they start making a full-time income, which I make a full-time income now, but I don't pay back my mom. And I don't know if that's normal, if that's bad, if that's good. I have never talked to anyone else about it. So you guys are one of the first to be hearing about this. I talked to my boyfriend about it, but that's about it. And it's guilty for me. I actually personally don't agree with it. I don't think I should be giving her my money that I earn. But it is guilty for me. It makes me feel guilty because I know that is one of the metrics of, I don't even know. It's just something she thinks is important. So knowing that I don't do it and that's something she prioritizes, I know that I'm kind of like disappointing her in a way. So yeah. I wrote down, I just have big oldest child energy. So I feel like I have to please my parents a lot. Yeah. That's kind of how I feel. Like, I feel like, I don't know why, but just subconsciously I do a lot of things that makes me seek approval from my mom, and it's really bad for me, honestly. And I'm going to try and work on it in therapy. But yeah, that's kind of one of the reasons why I feel inadequate. Okay, back from a little break because my camera loves to overheat on itself. So I'm going to continue with the next reason why I feel inadequate. Next reason why I feel inadequate is as a friend. This is partially I'm going to read straight from my journal. This is partially due to my circumstances and schedule right now, but I don't have the time or energy to be the bestie that can just drop everything to console my friends. And that sucks because people lean on me and rely on me. It's been really hard to be a friend when you work 11 hours a day and after that 11 hours, you're just like super tired. And it's kind of been making me feel sucky because I want to be there for my friends, but it's just like, I can't. I literally cannot. And this is also somewhat of a good thing in that I'm learning to prioritize my boundaries, because I know that before I would just give in to whatever my friends wanted and go out, even if I felt like I was mentally unwell or, just done things my friends wanted just because they wanted to and I didn't really want to. So I'm doing a lot better at sticking with my boundaries, but it does also make me feel guilty because I know my friends want to spend time together or want to be comforted and stuff like that. So it's been a little bit hard to deal with that feeling, you know? Yeah. Also, I think in adult life, it's also just like so hard to maintain friendships, and yeah, I really try to, but I don't like texting. I don't like FaceTiming. I also don't have data. I mean, I don't have Wi-Fi in my apartment. Yeah, I didn't get Wi-Fi, guys. So I'm living off of data and my data runs out. So obviously I don't have unlimited, and I don't have a ton of time because obviously I only have a certain amount of free time, and I do want, like, a big part of the free time that I have, I want to spend by myself and also cleaning my apartment and getting my life together. So I can't just drop everything for them. And yeah, because that was what I would do in high school and stuff. But now I have responsibilities, and that has been very difficult to deal with. I think that's like kind of the theme of today's episode is my life is changing and now I have responsibilities, and that's been very tricky to deal with. So yeah, it's been I don't know. I think like if the expectations are low for the friendship, this would make me feel a little less guilty, but it's trying to maintain these friendships and be better and be better friends and be there for my friends. That's what makes it hard, I think. So yeah. Okay, the last one is I feel inadequate as a girlfriend/partner. This one fluctuates, but it is frustrating to always get told the same thing. You're not considerate enough, blah, blah. I was kind of frustrated by the time I was writing this, so obviously I didn't really want to write anymore. This one kind of has to deal with my own thoughts and processes. I hate when my boyfriend and I fight or argue. It's not even like a fight, because it's not like we're fighting against something or for something. Like, we're really just talking, and it's like confrontational. I'm not confrontational at all, but my boyfriend is, and he doesn't see it as a negative thing because it's not. But I'm just trying to still rewire my brain to think that way as well, because I don't know, growing up seeing my parents fight all the time, it was not good and it was not enjoyable. So I think in my mind, fighting is one thing, when in reality it can be healthy and it is necessary for couples and relationships to keep going. Like, it's unreasonable to expect that two very different people who grew up in different ways and were brought up differently are going to mesh together perfectly, right? Like, that's definitely not possible. So I think I just have to kind of know that fighting is healthy, and I shouldn't even call them fights. They're not fights. They're just, what my boyfriend and I decided is, it's just wanting to be heard and understood, which is very valid. Everyone deserves to be heard and understood. So yeah, that's kind of that. So all of those piled on me kind of made me very upset, and I have been still very upset. Now I'm better. But earlier today I was definitely still super upset about it. So yeah, but we'll figure it out, and eventually things will just work itself out. I think I just have to believe that. Yeah. Everything will be okay. What is it? What is that quote? Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. And that's what I'm going to believe and choose to believe for now on. Okay, last thing about how I've been feeling, because this episode is deep. I'm so sorry for trauma dumping on you guys. I feel like I romanticized moving out way too much. And it's not really actually my fault per se, because I never had the experience of living on my own. But I think it's just that there are a ton of its own struggles that come along with moving out that I had no expectation or understanding of. And now that I am in it, I'm like, moving out, while it's great in some ways, is also terrible in others. So yeah, let me think of some examples. This bullet point I didn't really expand upon, but one is that financially it is such a headache. I could be saving a lot more money right now and also just living a much more comfortable life had I not moved out. But because I chose to, a lot of my income goes towards rent and living here. And also because of inflation and just the way the economy is right now, gas is also siphoning a big part of my paycheck. And those two things combined leave not a ton of money to play around with at the end of the month. So it is very hard to survive right now. Actually, I feel like I shouldn't even be complaining because I think I have it on the better end of things. Like, I don't actually have to think about like whether I want to pay rent or eat dinner, which is a very real decision that people make. I'm lucky that I don't have to make that kind of decision. But it is still just something I didn't really expect. I think if gas prices went down, right now it is $2.41 in British Columbia or in Vancouver, which is absolutely wild. And that's just for regular, right? So moving out has definitely put a little bit more stress on me in that I have to really think about and just not be careless with my money, which actually is honestly probably a better thing, right? Like, it's good that I learned this now. So it's a good thing and a bad thing, right? I feel frustrated, but it's also, I know, a good thing in the end of the day. So yeah. Another thing is, what else was I thinking about? Romanticizing moving out. A lot of time goes into maintaining my space and life and routines such that I don't have a ton of time to do like fun things that I want. In a normal week, on the weekdays, I'm completely not able to clean and stuff. I'm exhausted. I go to bed right after I eat dinner. Stuff like that. Like, I am actually like waking up so early and it's crazy. And then on the weekends, that only leaves a certain amount of time on the weekends to grocery shop, meal prep, clean, spend time with my boyfriend. Like, that's a lot of stuff to do in that I rarely get time to actually have energy to do things that I want and do things that I want, right? Like, I might have time to do things that I want, but I don't have the energy because I'm absolutely exhausted from cleaning and preparing and doing all this stuff. So, yeah, it's a little frustrating sometimes because I have this nice space and just the desire to do things, but I just can't because I have other responsibilities. So, yeah, that's adulthood. If anything, this phase of my life is going to teach me that I really want a job where I can have some free time. Because I think that is the most precious thing in life is time, right? Other things we can get back, money we can get back, items we can get back, stuff like that. But time is really something that you'll never be able to buy or get more of. You never know when your time is up and you won't be able to get more. So, yeah, those are kind of the two main struggles that I feel with moving out. I am so grateful that I could move out and I love it. But these are also just things I did not think of or foresee when I was planning to move out, which is crazy. So, also, I'm looking beside me and I forgot to bring up one thing in my Amazon list. I'm kind of done with talking about the deep stuff now. I don't really want to talk about it anymore. So, I'm going to go over these. These are like little Ugg Slipper Dupes. I bought them off Amazon. I think they were like $20 to $30 and they are so comfortable, so fuzzy, and so great. Love this. It is so good. But anyways, that's going to be it for me today. I know it's a bit of a hard-hitting episode. You can let me know if you relate. If you don't have to let me know. But yeah, that's going to be it for me today. And I'll see you soon. Bye.